Hello, Study Mums, and welcome to another episode of the Study Mums Pathways to Success podcast. I'm your host, Susie Phillips. I am a study mum and co-founder of studymum.com.au. Now, today we have Rita. Welcome back, Rita.
Thanks, Susie. Thanks for having me back.
Now, for those who haven't met Rita before or listened to a podcast by Rita, that was actually episode 6 that we had you on the show, which wasn't that long ago. So basically on that episode, we talked about your study journey, and we discussed some of the challenges that you had and all those and the solutions that you came up with. It was quite a motivating interview. So for the study mums that haven't had the opportunity to look at that, you can find that on the studymum.com.au website under podcast. Now, today we're actually talking about what's your motivation and the importance of knowing your motivation and determining your why, learning about what actually motivates you. And you also have a few tips about persistence and the benefits of persistence as well. So before we get started, Rita, just for tell us a little bit more about what you do. You know, you're a holistic counselor, you are a Reiki healer, and a meditation facilitator. You're also a study mum, and you're studying, is it 2 degrees?
Yes, I'm not 90 days short of finishing one of them, so I'm on the countdown.
Yeah.
So I'm also doing coaching as well. And then on top of that, I'm doing naturopathy and nutritional medicine.
Right. And basically you're part of our Study Mum community now, so we're going to be seeing lots from you now and in the future. So basically, let's get started. We've got a lot to cover today, and what's your motivation?
Okay, so firstly, I wanted to talk about what's your motivation, because I know for myself on my own journey of study, there's been times where that motivation has gone down to 0, and it's like, oh, I just don't want to do it anymore. I just want to throw it in. And I'm sure there's a whole heap of study mums out there that are going through that at some period of time during that study journey. And I think one of the key things that we need to realise is that we need to come back to what our motivation is. What is our why for doing what we're doing? Because that's what will then re-kickstart us to get back on that, that track. Because I know it's very easy to put the textbooks down. It's really easy to go, you know what, it's just too hard. Life is just so busy. I'll just stay in the same thing that I'm currently doing. And that's fine. For some people, that's what's going to happen. But we also know that for a lot of people, that's not actually what they want to have happen. They've just lost the reasoning and the motivation behind why they were doing it. And if we can tap back into that, then we can, reignite that spark, get them back on track, and just get them moving forward, even if it's just one step at a time. You don't have to do everything at once. So I think it's really important to understand what motivates you as a person. That helps to understand your why.
Definitely. And I think for study mums especially, it's a very vast, it's going to be different for everybody.
Exactly.
Yeah. Okay. And so how will we do that?
So one of the things that I do with my clients is I ask them, to think about these type of words and to think about which ones resonate with them the most. So if I was to throw out some words to you, Susie, like ambition, money, self-esteem, making a difference, work-life balance, empowerment, job security, opportunity, competitiveness, or change, what one stands out? What one hits you?
Yeah, for me, definitely. I'm just stuck because basically there's a lot to think about there. And I think for me, helping others and contribution is like, I felt that in the pit of my stomach when you were saying that. I'm like, that's the main thing for me, because I'm doing coaching and counselling also. So that is my drive for that. But also to have that a little bit of autonomy also. with things, and to be able to have that financial freedom where I'm working for myself. So that is a big drive for me, and that is part of my why.
Yeah, exactly. And it won't just be one thing. It'll be a couple of things from that list. But if you understand where it is, like, so for me, making a difference is my big why. That's my really big drive. And again, just like you, having that autonomy. So for me, that empowerment to be able to live my life the way I want to live it, not dictated by a boss or anything like that. I really want to be able to set that. And so that work-life balance for me is another really powerful trigger that keeps me going. And I'm glad you said you felt it in the pit of your stomach.
Yes, I did.
Because that's where passion is. That's where that's going to rise up. We feel it in our heart. We feel it in our stomach. It excites us. It motivates us. It inspires us to just take that little step forward or giant leaps of faith forward. And
what about the study mums that, what if a mum has started studying because she feels that it is just absolutely necessary? She has to contribute to the household. Maybe she has a job, but she needs to, get a better paying position within that same career. But, maybe even if it's something that she doesn't like, or hasn't found that thing that she likes, but she has to do that at this particular time. How do you find your why and your passion in that, if you're in that situation and it's just really like money is your drive, but,
And do you know what? Money is a great motivator, and it can be your drive. It really can. Never let anyone tell you that you're being selfish because you're chasing the dollar or something like that. If money is what's got to motivate you for this period of time, then go after it.
Right.
Go after it. It's not a problem to have money to be your motivational factor. Unfortunately, we're told, don't be this, don't be money hungry, don't do this, don't do that. Well, you know what? The world does work with money. Time and services cost money. You can't just walk into Woolworths and go, listen, I'm just going to take these home.
Yeah.
Right? Like, it's not going to happen.
That's right.
So money is a key motivating factor. I live in Sydney, where house prices are ridiculous. So money for a lot of people is a motivational factor. And you've got lots of families where mum wanted to be a stay-at-home mum, but mum's now got to go back to work.
Right, yeah, most definitely.
And that's okay. The thing that I say when that happens, especially if they don't like what they've got to do for a job, if it's just a means to an end, it is just the money is no longer creating excitement, it's just a means to an end. I always say to people, your motivation doesn't have to be within inside the work environment.
Right.
Okay? For some people, a hobby can provide as much motivation that will keep them going throughout the week. For some people, they just want the job, the 9-to-5 job that brings in that stability and everything like that. And there's nothing wrong with that at all either.
Yeah.
For some people, they want the career. Yeah. They really want to forge ahead. And for others, they want a vocation. It's a calling to them. It's what drives them that way. And it's really important to understand, because some people will study for a hobby.
Okay,
and that's great. That's fantastic. They don't have to be studying to have a vocation. So understand, is it a hobby, a job, a career, or a vocation? And
the study can be many, many things for many different people. If you are studying, and I guess that determining that why and what we're talking about now is an important part. If you can do that in the beginning, perhaps, like, even if you do have to study a particular subject or module or unit, like, or even just to get a certificate within your work environment, and it's not your most ideal situation, but you're doing that, well, I guess there's a lot of things that you can sort of do to determine what your why is surrounding that. It might be creating a better situation for your family. Or,
ask yourself things like, how will it improve your life? Because for a lot of people, if they've got to study, and I've got friends who are going off, and their work has actually said to them that they need to go and study this particular thing. That's what they need to do to make the next step up. Now, do they particularly want to do it? No. But do they want the next step up? Yes. So how will it improve your life? What difference will it make to their life? So they will then step into the job that they actually want to do. They will have the increase in wage that they want to do. And through the journey of study, they may just find more inspiration in what they're learning there.
Right.
It's like sending a child off to school and they don't like to do mathematics. Well, you know, from kindergarten through to year 12, you're going to do mathematics.
Yeah.
If you don't like reading, you're still going to read from kindergarten through to year 12.
Yeah.
So you have to then, if it's something that you're not 100% excited about studying, then make sure there's a reward with it. Make sure there's a payment back to yourself. You know, and make sure that that reward marries up with the effort you put in.
Okay. Well, we will get deeper into rewards, but just coming back to the why, and like we've just discussed quite a few reasons there, like that some people might be doing it. So what steps can a mum take to actually determine that? Like, is it good enough just to sit there and have a think about it and just go, okay, well, you know, this is what I like, this is what I want to do, this is what it will bring me? Or are there specific steps that they can take to get clearer on all of that and create a bit of a plan?
So one of the things I would say is, first of all, ask yourself, why do you want to study? What is the reason behind the study? Get clear around that. Is it because you have to, or is it because you're excited about it? Is it because you want to? Get clear around your reason. Then go back to the part of, how will this improve my life? What changes will it make to my life? What will my life be like after I've completed this? Okay, because you're studying for a completion. And you want some change to happen at that completion. So what will my life look like once I've completed it? Get clear about the visual that is the end result, you know, and ask yourself, how prepared am I to put effort in? Be realistic. If you're already working 40 hours a week, you've got young children, then be realistic. You are not going to put another 40 hours a week into studying. So understand your time framing, because sometimes we can stumble upon that later on. That trips us up. The other thing is, get clear about what it means to your family for this, okay? Because it's, as much as we want to say, well, we're just going to take that autonomy and we're going to go off and we're going to do our study, it impacts your whole family.
Yeah, most definitely.
Yeah, so get clear about what that means. Sit down, have that conversation with your partner. Have that conversation with your children if they're at the age where you can have that conversation with them. And get clear about it and set some goals. Once you've made that decision that, yes, I'd like to study because of X, Y, Z, you know, you may be working as you may be working as an accountant, but your passion is in makeup and things like that.
Yeah.
You may be working in retail sales, but your passion's in IT. You may be, you know, working in a school, but you want to be a counsellor. You know, understanding why you want to make the change is a really big part of it.
And what do you say to some mums where they think, oh, I've been working in this job for so long, but I really would love to study this, but, you know, I'm in my late 30s or early 40s. We're having children a lot later these days. Like, I'm in my late 30s at the moment, and I have a 4-year-old son. So studying for me was a big decision. It was like, wow, yeah. Do I do this now, or do I just, enjoy this process? But then it was a scary thought, what do I do after that? So, for those mums that think, oh, maybe it's a little bit too late to pick up this study and move on to a whole new career.
Let me ask you this. If your child was in their late 30s and they came to you and said, Mum, I want to make a change in my life, would you tell them it was too late?
Definitely.
Or would you encourage them?
Of course we would, yes.
So encourage yourself. It's never too late. It is never too late. I'm an advocate for being a lifelong learner. So if you're 98 and you want to study, go study.
Yeah, I agree wholeheartedly, and I probably will be doing that.
Yeah. And you know what? Like, we say we're in our late 30s, and, I'm in my early 40s, but you know what? The government's told me that I can't retire until I'm 70. So there's at least another, 20 plus years there.
Exactly right.
20 plus years doing the same job that I was doing that I didn't like. It's not really enjoying my life, is it? You're only here for a period of time. Make the most of it. And you know what? If you don't make a change, then nothing ever will change.
Yeah.
And as mums, one of our biggest roles is to be role models for our children. So if I give up on my dream, how can I ever inspire my child to go after their dream?
100%, yeah.
So it's never too late. It's scary. It's daunting. Absolutely. Acknowledge that. Feel the fear and do it anyway.
Yeah.
That's really what it's about, is just, and use that fear to drive you.
Yeah, and always know that there are support networks. I mean, this is what Study Mum is trying to achieve, and getting out there for mums to be able to help them through those times when there are challenges like that. So there's always going to be something that you can do to help you through to that next level, I think, and that's a really important thing to remember.
And know that everybody's on a journey.
Yeah.
Don't look at anyone else's journey. Look at your own. Focus on your own. Everybody's at a different point in their journey, and they've probably been through what you're now experiencing, but they've got through it.
Yeah.
Or they've not yet got to the point where you're at. We're all on a different journey.
Yeah.
They have some similarities, and know that by sharing your stories, it can help inspire others, but never take on someone else's story as going, oh, but they did it this way. Know that it's your own story. It's your own journey. You're the author of your own life, so you need to write that story.
Right. So we covered motivation, and we covered the reasons why. We covered, the hesitation of, is it too late? So you were talking about rewarding yourself before, what do you mean by that?
Okay. So I'm a really big believer that we need rewards in life, okay? We're not here to work ourselves to the bone and things like that. And I really think that we tend to not put a value on a reward. That becomes our issue, okay? So I can give you an example. When I was a lot younger, before I had children, my husband and I would go to work, and, I wanted a reward at the end of each week. I didn't want to just go to work just to work. So I would have, on a Friday, we allocate $20 a week. So I would have my oysters and my champagne on a Friday night. That was my reward for working.
Nice.
Now, clearly, if I only had $20, it's a long time ago, people.
But when you said that, the first thing I thought about was shopping. When I was childless and working full time, to me it was like at the end of every week I always went shopping.
Okay, so think about that. Like, I love handbags and shoes. My husband can attest to that. So if I achieve, so let's say I've spotted a handbag that I really like, I'll visualize that I'm going to have that handbag. But to get that handbag, I need to achieve something. I needed to have put the work in. I need to have gotten the result I wanted. So for me, part of my reward system is that, at the end of each semester, I will have a reward for me, okay? Now, I only give myself that reward if I got the results I wanted to achieve in that semester. So if I didn't get the results, I don't get the reward. And that's a really important thing to know with rewarding yourself. If you do not get the results, you cannot have the reward. If you didn't put the work in, if you were half-hearted about it, you don't get the reward. Because if you do then go and give yourself that reward, you just undermine the whole thing.
I love that. I love how real that is, basically. You've heard people say, reward yourself, celebrate the little wins and everything, but you are being very real there and saying, if you don't do it, then don't give yourself that reward. Move.
Exactly. Because,
try harder next time.
Yeah, it will never work for you. It's like saying, you know, you've said to your child, okay, well, if you do clean your bedroom and put your clothes away and keep it tidy all week, you will get, I don't know, $5 pocket money.
Yeah.
And they don't do it, and they still get $5 pocket money. What did you just teach your child?
Yeah.
Doesn't matter. I'm still going to get it.
That's right.
So that's what you teach yourself as well. We have an amazing ability in our mind to really teach ourselves bad habits.
Yes, definitely.
So make the reward appropriate to the goal.
Okay.
So if the goal was to do 15 minutes worth of study every single day of the week, and you achieve that, then make the reward an appropriate reward for that. So personally, I'm not going to go out and buy a handbag.
Yeah, that's a little outrageous.
That, right? However, you know, I might go and get that dozen oysters again.
Right. Or brunch with a girlfriend or something, yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. I might treat myself to coffee and cake down at the local cafe or something like that. It's a smaller reward. Okay?
Yeah.
My reward for completing my degree at the end of this year is to go overseas.
That's a nice big one.
But I've put a lot of effort in.
Yes.
So that's my reward. Now, is everybody going to do rewards like that? No, of course not. You've got to do something that is inspirational for you. It's no good setting a reward that you're not motivated to achieve either.
Right.
Okay, and it's no good setting a reward that is so out of reach that you'll go, well, I'm never going to get there. So break things down. Break them down into smaller portions. And this is where we do celebrate those small wins, but we make the reward appropriate for the small win. Small win, small reward. Large win, large reward.
Yeah.
Right? And don't put pressure on yourself as to, you know, making the reward so ostentatious that you can't get it. You know, my overseas is about lots of savings.
Yeah.
So if you do things like that, that will help keep you motivated, and it helps to bring you back on track for when you hit those, oh, I've hit a brick wall moment. You know, and if you don't succeed the first time, so let's say, you know, I don't get the results that I want, so therefore I'm not getting that handbag. Well, that handbag's still there. It's still in the shop, so let's try harder next time. By doing that, not only am I teaching myself to put more effort in, I'm inspiring myself to try harder, to work harder. I'm teaching my children as well. You know, everything that a study mum does has a flow-on effect to their children, and it can be the most positive thing that we can ever do for our kids.
Definitely, yeah.
You know, especially if you've got school-age children and they're just starting to get into school, and, you know, they're inspired to learn, but we've still got to teach them resilience. We've still got to teach them to roll with the failures and understand that we're not always going to hit the mark, but that's okay. We can put more effort in next time. We can learn from it. We can roll with it. So get a reward chart. I do have one that I will make available on Study Mum.
Oh, great. Thank you.
So people can use it. And, you know, we do sticker charts for our kids. Well, let's do reward charts.
Yeah, they work fantastically most of the time. So.
Exactly. So let's do reward charts for us. And, you know, and you guys can adapt this to anything. You can adapt it to weight loss, to healthy lifestyle, savings plans, whatever you want. You can adapt it to it. But let's get a reward chart going, and let's make it visual so you can see it. Okay. It's okay having everything up in your head, but if you've got it visually in front of you, you will remind yourself of it.
Yeah. So with visualization, is there any, when you're saying visualizing your end goal and what that's going to look like, you know, working in a new job once you're qualified, or having your own business, what are some tips and tricks that you can, you know, what's the best way to go about visualizing? I mean, obviously it's going to probably be a bit different for everybody. So some people are very visual, some people aren't. So absolutely,
it will be. Look, one of the things that I love to do is create vision boards. I think they're a great tool, and I don't think you have to have massive big posters all over your house and things like that. But you don't need to have that. You can create a vision board, and there's plenty of programs on computers and things like that where you can create a vision board online and then go and have it as your screensaver.
Right.
And let's say you've got a visual. Let's say my sister is studying to be a nurse, so she could have a picture of her with a nurse's uniform on as her screenshot.
Very simple.
Visualizing that end result all the time. You can do things like that. For me, when I wanted to have my own room to practice out of, I would visualize what my room was going to look like. What was the feel going to be? Things like that. So I would, if I happened to see a particular motivational quote or something that I would love to have hanging on my wall, I'd get it on my computer or I'd print it out and I'd put it in my office going, that's going to go to where I'm going to hold my own practice out of. Things like that. Get yourself little things. So let's say that you're studying because money and job security is a motivational factor for you. Let's say that that's why you're studying, and the end goal for you is to have a great job, have a great career that is going to provide you the money to maybe buy a house.
Right.
Or go get a key ring with a house on it.
Yeah.
Go get a blank key. Stick it on your key ring and tell yourself that's your house key. Right. That's your key to success.
That's quite powerful.
It's in your hand. You are holding on to it. You have the key to your success in your hand. Go and get that key and make sure every time you see it, that's going to open your front door of the house that you own. Or that's going to open the front door of your business. Go and get something like that. Carry it with you all the time. If one of your things is to make a difference, and that's one of my things, I visualize, I meditate and I visualize what I will be saying to people to help them. For
people who aren't familiar with that, what's the science behind the, visualize, having vision boards, getting that key for that house? How does that work? How's it? I mean, obviously for that moment, like when you said that, I went, wow, that's a really powerful sort of, it's tangible, you can follow it. But what's the science behind how that works in?
So we start off basically having an idea of, this is possibly what I'm going to want. And it's not so concrete. It's a bit vague. Yeah. And when it's vague, we don't know how to go get it.
Sure.
We don't know how to go and achieve it. We then start to form more of a belief system around it. We start to narrow it down. We start to, as we hone in on that visualization, as we grab hold of that key, things like that, we start to form more of a belief, and we believe we can. And then the more that you do it, the stronger you put your thought process into it, the more that you reach for it and make it more and more tangible, we get a conviction around it.
Right, yeah.
And when we have a conviction around it, we know we're going to achieve it. Yeah. We know. Then it's no longer we believe, we know we will achieve it. And it helps, excuse me, it helps those pathways in our brain to actually switch, to shut out that negative thought process, to help go, no, like when that little negative mind comes in and goes, oh, don't be silly, you're not going to get that. By the time you've got conviction, that negative thought process, it's not happening.
Yeah.
You've stopped it. And that's going to allow you to really achieve it. So by having it there, by having it light a fire in your belly, by really feeling the passion behind it, attaching emotion to your end goal will drive you. So, that holding on to that key, if that attaches that emotion for you, it will drive you forward. It will push out the negative naysaying part of your brain and will bring in that conviction side that says, I'm going to achieve it. I'm going to get going and I'm going to do this. So we want to create the emotional connection, and by visualizing it, we create an emotional connection. If your dream is to go and get a house, then go and stand in a display home and visualize yourself in there.
Yeah, that's fantastic. This episode is definitely going straight into our Study Mums Empowerment Library because that was just fantastic, absolutely fantastic. And that's why I love having you on the show, because you are so motivating, and that is just such tangible stuff. So thank you so much for that, Rita.
No
Before
problem.
we go, though, did you want to just recap like those steps that we've taken in determining your why?
So determine your why. Ask yourself, why are you doing this? What is the end goal? What is it going to do for your life? How is it going to change your life? You know, understand what the process is. You know, be realistic about what commitment you can do. You know, because you don't want to then set yourself up for failure. So be realistic about it. Have a really positive mindset about it as well. Know that your journey is your own. This is your life. It's yours to offer. So have a really positive mindset, that one step at a time, break it down, little chunks, you know. You don't have to take bite-sized pieces that you can't manage, just small little chunks, and set rewards that are appropriate for those chunks. So just, you know, when you're feeling stuck, just kickstart yourself. Put on some music, dance around, shift the mindset, do all those type of things. And then really visualize that end result. Really make it tangible. Connect an emotion to the end result and have it light a fire inside of you, so that when you are having a bad time, you've not achieved the result you wanted, you know that it's not a failure that's going to hold you in place for life. It is just simply a point of time where it's not all gone 100%, but that's okay, because tomorrow's a new day.
Right. Yeah. Well, thank you, Rita. So what can we look forward to on our next episode with you?
So next episode, I want to talk about stress busting.
Ooh,
because
I like that one.
I don't know about you. Well, I'm pretty sure every study mum out there has pulled their hair out at one stage.
Most definitely.
So I want to talk about stress busting, and one of the things that I've got lined up for next one is so that all of the study mums get a free meditation as well, so that
wonderful,
they can take it away and be able to use it at any time that they want.
That is brilliant. Well, we will definitely be looking forward to that. So thanks again, Rita, for your time, and we will be speaking with you again very, very soon.
Thank you. Thanks for having me, Susie.
You're welcome.